He walked away from the old life. He found peace on a quiet farm and love by a hidden waterfall. But when his past comes roaring back in fire and burns, how far will he go to protect it all? Endless Waterfall by J. Pilgrim. Chapter 8. The Past Catches Up. The birds and insects had gone quiet. Night had thickened over the land like a wool blanket, smothering sound, swallowing light. Joe and Lana were inside the cottage now, quietly folding away the picnic blanket, her cardigan, the remains of the evening. A single light bulb glowed over the kitchen bench, casting soft shadows against the timber walls. The scent of lavender drifted faintly from a lit candle, mingling with summer air and the lingering comfort of shared wine and slow conversation. "I'll go back to the main house now," she said, glancing at the clock. "Mom and Dad are the old-fashioned type, traditional, you know. If I stay here overnight, Dad, he'll start sharpening knives." Joe smiled, but it was distracted, shallow. Something had been gnawing at him since town. Since that moment in the supermarket. Since that look. He stood by the front door, arms crossed, staring out the window into the dark paddock between the road and the cottage. Buzz was already on edge, pacing in a slow arc near the front door. His ears twitched, his tail stiffened. Then he barked. Once, twice, sharp, urgent. Joe's body tensed. Lana stepped away from the table, eyes narrowing. "What is it?" Outside, headlights flared through the trees. Engines idling, doors slamming. Buzz went ballistic, launching into full guttural barking at the door, teeth flashing. Joe moved fast, snatching the candle off, killing the light. "Get down," he whispered. "What the hell is happening?" Lana whispered sharply as Joe guided her down behind the kitchen counter, his hand firm on her shoulder. There was a distinctive creak on the steps outside. Then came the voice, muffled through the door, unmistakable in its cruel confidence. "Joey, long time no see, brother. You gonna come out like a man, or are we gonna have to break in there?" Joe's breath caught. "Den." Joe motioned for Lana to stay put. His heart hammered. He spoke, his voice low, controlled. "Den, this isn't the place." "It's exactly the place," came the voice again, louder now, just outside. "You don't disappear from us, Joe. You don't walk clean. You owe money, time, loyalty. Well, hell, you owe me big time." Lana's face, pale in the dim glow, stared up at him. "Who are they? Why are they here?" "Joe, what have you done?" Joe didn't look at her. "Couldn't. I'll tell you later." "No," she snapped. "You tell me now." "Tick, tick," Den called again. "You got 60 seconds, Joey. You open this door. We talk like brothers. You don't? We do some damage. The girl can watch what kind of man you really are." Buzz snarled through the bottom crack of the door, pacing like he could sense the weight in the air. Lana grabbed Joe's arm. "You need to call the cops." Joe shook his head, his voice barely audible. "No time. They'll be gone before they show. And it'll be worse." Outside, footsteps circled the cottage. Voices murmured. The sound of glass bottles clinking, someone laughing. Then Den again. "Final call, Joey. Come out, kneel. Pay your dues. Or we will torch the place." Joe looked at Lana. "Go out the back," he said. "Now?" She shook her head. "I'm not leaving you. I'm not asking." She didn't move. Then, the whoosh of liquid slapping the wood. The unmistakable glug of gasoline hitting dry timber. Joe stepped over and pressed his forehead against the door frame. "Den, don't. There's a woman in here." "She is innocent." Den's voice, now right up close, hissed, "Last chance to open the door." A moment went by then, too late, and then fire. Flames roared up the outer wall. The dry timber caught instantly, leaping to the eaves like it had been waiting all summer for this moment. The windows glowed orange. Smoke curled beneath the door, thick and fast. Buzz barked frantically. Joe spun around. "Lana, go." "Now." Smoke choked the air before the flames even touched the walls inside. Acrid and thick, it poured through the cracks in the timber, curling along the ceiling like a living thing, hunting for breath. Lana ran to the rear of the cottage, panic tightening in her chest. She reached the back door, grabbed the old brass lock, and yanked. It didn't move. She tugged harder, coughing now. It stuck. Joe was right behind her, his eyes stinging, lungs screaming. Buzz barked wildly at their heels, spinning in circles, tail down, confused and terrified. "This door latch won't budge." Lana rasped, wiping sweat from her brow with a shaking arm. Flames cracked along the front wall now, the heat pushing into the small room like a pressure wave. The cottage groaned. Nails popped. Glass shattered behind them. Joe shoved Lana aside gently and stepped in front of the door. He tried the latch once, twice. The lock creaked. The third time, it gave. Joe opened the back door of the cottage with a swift motion. And Bruiser was there. Leaving so soon? He sneered before swinging a thick fist directly into Joe's face. The punch landed hard. Joe stumbled back into the smoke-filled kitchen, crashing into a chair that splintered under his weight. He hit the floor, dazed, blood blooming from his nose. "Joe!" Lana screamed, starting toward him. And that's when the section of the roof gave. A section of the ceiling, already weakened by flame, cracked and collapsed. Burning beams crashed down with a roar, and Lana didn't have time to move. A chunk of flaming timber hit her across the back and shoulder, knocking her to the floor with a cry that cut through the roar of the fire. Outside, Bruiser made his way to the front of the cottage as the heat became too intense. Flames leapt up the cottage walls, lighting the paddock like a funeral pyre. Den stood, hands in his pockets, watching it all with a cigarette dangling from his lips. He smiled. "Happy homecoming, Joey. Let's get out of here before there is too much attention." Another voice snapped. The gang backed away, headlights swung back onto the gravel road, and tires kicked up dust as they sped off, engines roaring into the dark. Inside, Joe scrambled to his knees, coughing, eyes watering, the smoke clawing down his throat like glass. The heat was unbearable. He pulled the burning beam off Lana with bare hands, gritting his teeth through the pain. Lana's shirt was smoking, skin beneath red and blistered. Come on. Joe lifted her up, one arm around her waist, the other shielding her face. Buzz ran ahead, yelping, barking, leading them out the back door. Joe carried Lana toward the fence line, both of them coughing, her half-conscious from the hit and heat. The night was pierced by the crackle of flame, the chorus of fire devouring timber. Joe collapsed to his knees near the fence line, Lana in his arms. Buzz barked, running circles around them, then sat beside them, panting and alert. "Lana, stay with me," Joe whispered, brushing singed hair from her face. Her eyes fluttered open, tears mixing with soot. "Help me. Stay with me," she rasped. "I will," he said, voice cracking. "Just hold on." The fire raged, licking the sky orange and red, turning the night into a flickering nightmare. The crack and roar of timber collapsing was deafening. Smoke billowed out over the paddocks, visible from the road, drawing attention. But not fast enough. Joe held Lana tight to his chest as he ran. Her body hot and limp, her breath shallow and uneven. The skin on her shoulder and upper back was blistered, raw where the burning beam had caught her. She whimpered as every step jarred the wound, but she didn't tell him to stop. Buzz raced ahead through the grass, barking once to guide them, then sprinting toward the path between the trees. Joe's legs were burning now too, but from effort. Sweat and soot mixed on his skin, blood running down from his nose where Bruiser's fist had landed. His lungs still ached from the smoke, but adrenaline drowned out everything else. He didn't think, he just moved. Through the paddock, through the tree line, toward the only safe place he knew, the waterfall. The willows parted for him like old friends. The glade was cooler, damp, and shadowed. The air here didn't burn. It wrapped them in silence and mist and soft green stillness. The faint roar of water grew louder with every step. He reached the edge of the pool, laid her gently on the mossy rocks, and entered the shallows first. "I'm here. You're okay. Just breathe." Her skin was searing to the touch. Her eyes fluttered open again, dazed with pain. "I can't, Joe. Hurts." I know," he whispered. Gently, he lowered her into the cold stream just under the fall where the water pooled. She gasped as it hit her burns, and her whole body arched in pain before relaxing slightly, breath shaking. Joe held her body under the water with both arms, letting the clear, icy water run over her blistered shoulder, cooling the burns, washing away soot and ash. His t-shirt clung to his chest, soaked through, blood and smoke staining the fabric. Buzz lay nearby, panting, ears twitching, watching them with wide, worried eyes. "I've got you," Joe murmured. "I've got you, Lana." She turned her face into his neck, her voice barely audible above the rushing water. They were there for what felt like hours, just the sound of the falls and the beat of his heart echoing through the glade. Joe didn't know what tomorrow would bring, what they'd lost or what was coming next. But in that moment, holding her under the cold silver curtain of the falls, he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going to run anymore. He would fight for this. For her. And from far off, he heard the wail of sirens slicing through the night, racing fast along the main road toward the embers of the cottage. Stay updated on J. Pilgrim's latest releases and more by following him on this YouTube channel. Join a community of readers who are inspired, entertained, and transformed by the works of J. Pilgrim. Like, comment, and share this series with fiction lovers. Discover the magic, embrace the wisdom, live the adventure. See you in the next episode.